Hi, good morning, welcome. It's time for another candidate reading a children's book to you on Saturday morning. And my name is Susan Buchser-Lochocki. I also go by Susan B. Lochocki, or Susan B for short. And I tell you that, all of those names, for one reason, because my name Susan actually was inspired by the 50th anniversary of women's rights to vote. That's when I was born, around the 50th anniversary, and so I was named Susan for a reason. And then I married into the family of Buchser from Switzerland, and then I became Susan B. And I am using my real name, Susan Buchser, which is Susan B, um, for many reasons, because it's my name, first off, but also to honor Susan B. Anthony. So, the book today I'm going to read, I'm not going to read the whole thing. We might get through one or two chapters, but it's called Who Was Susan B. Anthony? And recently, so this February, I was at her birthday celebration, Susan B. Anthony's, and it was implied that Susan B's are always dealing with voting issues and voting rights. And if you've been following my campaign, you know that that is what I'm working on to start. And then we will move forward into other avenues. But first, it's voting rights, because if we don't have the right, if we don't have our votes counted, then we don't have anything and we're not being heard. And that was her problem too. That's what she realized. So, anyways, she is the one who inspired my name, and now I'm inspiring the next generations of Susans out there to make sure that your rights are, first off, voting rights are have to exist, and that your voice is being heard. That's the important thing. So the book is called Who Was Susan B. Anthony? Apparently, it was a #1 New York Times bestseller series. It's an official Who Ho book. Um, it's by Pam Plollack and Meg Belviso. I hope I said their names right. It's a Penguin book. So here's what it looks like. And it says, "We want to vote." And votes for women. So then I open it up, and then this is another page. I'll put the details about the book in, of course, the comment section or the description section of this video so that you can follow along. But anyway, as you know, I am running for President of the United States. I am a candidate, and that's I forgot to finish what I was saying at the beginning, but yeah. So anyway, let me continue. So then we get a page called Who Was Susan B. Anthony by Pam Plollack and Meg Belviso, illustrated by a Mike Lacey, and it's a Penguin workshop. So that's that page. And I think the last book I read was a very basic book with not a lot of reading. This one has a lot of reading, so, and lots of pages, over 100 pages. So I'm going to have to do it over a series. So this is part 1. And it starts with Who was Susan B. Anthony? So, who was Susan B. Anthony? November 5th, 1872 was a presidential election day. Ulysses S. Grant was running against Horace Greeley in Rochester, New York. Men sat by the ballot box to receive votes. The men of Rochester entered the polling place, filled out a ballot, and dropped it in the box. It was business as usual. However, in the doorway stood a middle-aged woman in a black dress. Everyone recognized her. It was Susan B. Anthony, the greatest fighter for women's rights in the United States. She had come with her 3 sisters. They wanted to vote. Women did not have the right to vote in New York in 1872. Sometimes women filled out ballots simply as a protest. So this one doesn't have a picture. These ballots were never counted. This year, Susan decided to cast a vote herself. She had never done it before, only because she spent so much time traveling the country, giving speeches for voting rights, that she was never at home long enough to prove she lived there. Until that year. Susan demanded a ballot. As a citizen of the United States, she said she had the right to vote. She had brought with her a copy of the 14th Amendment of the Constitution, which guaranteed the right of citizens to vote. She had also brought a copy of the New York State Constitution. The men felt Susan was wrong. They believed that the 14th Amendment gave only male citizens the right to vote. Susan looked them in the eyes. In her career, she had faced down angry mobs. She'd been pelted with rotten eggs and tomatoes. Figures made to look like her had been dragged through the streets and burned, all because she wanted equal rights. So here we have a picture of her and her sisters. These men were no match for Susan B. Anthony. They let her and her sisters vote. Susan was thrilled. But 3 weeks later, as she sat in her parlor, there was a knock at the door. It was a deputy U.S. Marshal. He had come to arrest her. Susan held out her wrists to be handcuffed. If the U.S. government wanted a fight, she was ready. I think I will stop there, actually. So truthfully, she was a U.S. citizen and had the right to vote and have her vote counted. But the corruption at the time, which happened to be through the male population, was to prevent women from voting. And but according to our Constitution, it is legal. If you can get a passport, which you can as a woman or a man, you're a full citizen with all the rights in the Constitution. So, on that note, I'm going to stop here and I'll read the next chapter. I'll tell you what it is. The next chapter is A Quaker Girl. So, that's next week. Thank you for stopping by, and I wish you a wonderful day wherever you are. Have a good day. Don't forget to look me up if you are unfamiliar with my platform and information. I'm all over the web. And then I have like over 400 videos on YouTube that are open to the public. And I have a website, which is Sussn4USA.com. That's Susan, the number 4, USA.com. All right. Again, thanks for stopping by, and I wish you a nice day wherever you are. Bye for now.